Alright guys, in this video, we are going to be breaking down how BSM Fredo is able to make over $100,000 a month at the age of 20 years old. And he does this while being in the category of a micro creator. So if you guys don't know what a micro creator is, it's anybody who is kind of like an influencer or creator, and they are between the following counts of 10K to 100K. If you guys are familiar with any of my previous videos, I've broken down a bunch of creators that are, bigger with 100K following plus. But in the case of BSM Fredo, he does not have as big of a following, but is still able to bring in a ton of cash flow through his businesses. And I'll show you guys the ins and outs of how he is able to make that 100K a month. So if you guys are not familiar with BSM Fredo, he's a 20-year-old organic dropshipper and entrepreneur, and he really popped on the scene like late 2022, but then his name started becoming more reputable within like the last few months or so. I would say like mid to early 2024. That's when I started hearing about him. And yeah, I'm just going to be breaking down his funnel here. So Fredo actually started dropshipping back in late 2022. He mentions that it was a transformative year for him and one of the most eye-opening years in his life. Now, with almost 3 years in the space, he has amassed a good following of new-aged organic dropshippers, with recent video appearances mentioning that he has hit 100K months. But Fredo is actually making more from his community than his dropshipping ventures. So Fredo actually runs a Discord called BSM, where he teaches others about organic dropshipping. And BSM stands for Blue Strip Motives. That's just kind of like the name of their group or whatever. And so I'm going to be breaking down the traffic, the warm leads, and the conversion of how he's able to make that 100K a month. And by the end of this video, if you guys are looking to build a system like this for yourself, where you have a high ticket offer or a community that you do want to go ahead and monetize with a high ticket offer, hit me up on Instagram, just DM me the word system, and I would love to go ahead and give you a free audit on how we can implement something for your business. And we can basically just chop it up about the best strategies that you could use for your particular business and niche. So yeah, go ahead and let me know, and I would love to talk with you guys there. All right, so first thing we're going to be talking about is the traffic. And so when you look at the traffic, Fredo's two main sources of traffic are Instagram here and TikTok. And so like how I kind of explained earlier, Fredo is a micro creator, and a micro creator is a social media like creator or influencer who basically has a follower count ranging from 10K to 100K. So they're not typically like super big like on the radar, but they do have a presence, and in Fredo's case, he's able to make 100K a month from it. So this is just an example that you don't necessarily need a crazy amount of followers to really pump out numbers, if that makes sense. So I just want to break down Instagram first, just because his TikTok has a little bit of a bigger following, closer to 50K. The Instagram one has about 17K. And basically, when you first look at it, his IG bio, it really just mentions what they do and how they are able to afford the lifestyle that they live. So as you can see, like right here, it just mentions that he does organic dropshipping, and he has a little call to action here, basically just saying like DM me organic to learn some more. And it also just links into his YouTube, which is also later down the line for the traffic portion here. What you can see is that it's pretty minimalistic. It's nothing too big or flashy to kind of show that he does what he does, but it just gives a little bit of insight into himself. So when you first look at it, you could definitely see the highlights here, and then you could see a few of the posts. So here are just some of them. And these posts just really showcase like the flashy kind of lifestyle that he lives. So, it looks like he's here at night in the city or whatever, maybe him and one of his boys, and him in a Maybach truck. I think this is a Maybach truck, but yeah, just basically showing his flashy lifestyle. And also, when you take a look at the different highlights here, as you can see, I only did 3 of them. I kind of just canceled out this AZ one because it's kind of the same thing as like the lifestyle highlight here. But for the BSM one, which is his group, he basically just posts about some wins, one of the students doing like a 5.4K day, Another student hitting his first 100K month, it seems like, also has the screenshots to prove it, you know. And then one of his other highlight stories, basically just on like general ecom, basically just telling them to join the group here, and it shows some of the screenshots or like, you know, the orders coming in from Shopify. Last one is just life, you know, just showing the flashy lifestyle he kind of lives. Looks like he's picking up a Rolex here, and it also shows that he is, you know, probably with his boys or whatever, showcasing their nice cars, just really showing that he's legit. And so once you go past the posts and you kind of look towards the reels, you can tell that recently he's been putting out a lot more content where it's more face to face, like him just talking to the camera. And I believe he's doing this just to be a little bit more like authentic with it. He's talking to his audience, and his targeted demographic is like people who's basically in the same situation as him, or like, you know, just around that age range of like 18 to like maybe like 20, 21, 22. And it's really just showcasing what he has been able to achieve with the route that he took, which is organic dropshipping. And so when you look at this, his reels are really similar to his TikTok content. It's less quantity. He doesn't post as much as he does on his TikTok, but you can definitely see that there are some duplicates, and we'll, you know, take a look at that as well once we look at the TikTok here. And so moving on to TikTok, this is definitely his biggest following. Like I mentioned, it's almost at 50K right now. He does have, you know, a good amount of likes as well. It looks like 2.6 million likes. And basically, he directly links his mentorship here, or his, you know, his high ticket offer. And like I mentioned, the videos that he's been posting, recent ones have been more forward facing, kind of like Instagram, motivational videos. And he goes through topics such as like never giving up, talking about mindset, and really talking about moving forward in your life. And also the video that's pinned is actually a video of him explaining how he makes 50K a month at 20 years old. And this was a video that's a little bit older, so the numbers are not like too up to date, since he is at 100K a month right now. But you know, this is just a little insider into how he's able to afford, you know, what he does, where he lives, the car he drives. And it really just gives him his credits to show that, you know, he's actually legit at what he does. But yeah, you can see a lot of talking to the camera videos right here, right here, right here. Looks like this is just like a, I don't know. Looks like this is a post that's, you know, showcasing his cars or whatever. But yeah, just pretty straightforward here. And you can see this is some of the older content as well. And this is just showing and flexing his lifestyle a little bit more. As you can see, this is like a plan A video, 100K plus months, penthouses, whatever. This one's also one in his penthouse. This one's one with one of his boys, probably with their cars. Another one with a penthouse, and then just some videos of him answering some questions. And with a whole bunch of micro creators, kind of like Fredo here, their main goal is to really take people off of their short form content and move them over to their long form. And this is where they are going to be directed to YouTube. I know that TikTok does not have like the YouTube just pinned here or whatever. Instead, he just has the mentorship. And I think it's made that way just because since TikTok is his biggest following, he kind of wants a direct access to that mentorship instead of having to go through a few steps. But the reality is that, you know, whatever short form content is out there, it's going to drive them towards the long form content. And so just taking a quick glance at the YouTube content here, you can definitely see that Fredo has a pretty good following. He is currently at about 30K subs. He has almost 100 videos, and he also has the exact same link that is in his TikTok. And this is because after, you know, looking at all of his long form content, you're going to be super nurtured. And basically the type of videos that he makes, it's really a mix of like day in the life, motivational talks, and how to do organic drop shipping. So as you can see, this one is more of like that motivational kind of talk. This one is more like day in the life or POV. This one is, you know, drop shipping or whatever, another drop shipping. This one's more day in the life. This is more day in the life as well. Drop shipping stuff, drop shipping, day in the life, and then also just some other stuff about drop shipping. But it's usually a mix of motivational talks, drop shipping and day in the lives. And some of his videos are multi-purposed. So he'll have it where, you know, he's talking about some motivational stuff, but then he'll basically drop some sauce on organic drop shipping, if that makes sense. And if I'm being honest, every video that he makes is basically a VSL. He's consistently putting out knowledge and he pours it out for free. And with that, at the end of every video, he basically has a CTA. And so as you can see, I did watch some of his videos to try to get a good idea of, like, you know, what kind of content he's actually putting out there. And every single video that I've seen, he's really put out a call to action at the end. And this is, you know, just to drive more people into his mentorship or his free course. And the free course, I'm also going to talk about it in the warm lead section. And so, like, in this video, he talks about changing your mindset, changing your life, and then he'll kind of loop in his side of things, you know, how his mindset changed and then how he was able to make money. And then he'll basically go ahead and mention his dropshipping thing, you know, saying how this changed his life and, you know, he's now able to live the lifestyle that he basically lives. Same thing with this video here, you know, he shows you that he's in Hawaii or whatever, and through dropshipping, he was able to afford that lifestyle. So it's constantly, you know, just dropping a bunch of knowledge, but then ultimately he's going to be looping you into that free course. And then after that, he's going to sell you on to the mentorship, because you're going to see the results from everything. And, you know, you're just going to want to basically join in. And with a lot of his more recent content, you will see the day in the life, the motivational talks and how-tos. But for the older videos, you'll see some testimonials and transformation stories. So kind of like this video here is more of a testimonial. There's like some students or whatever that were in his program, and, you know, they're just there talking about how they were able to succeed with organic dropshipping. And so for the majority of his videos, in the description down below, he does have the inner circle, which is like the paid mentorship, and then he also just has the free course here. And this is taken actually from this video here. So as you can see, it's very, very recent, April 3rd, and that's just a few days after me creating this video here. And so now going on to the warm leads here, there's going to be two ways that are really going to be shown through the warm leads. So one is actually the CTA from IG or Instagram here, and that is basically what was in his Instagram bio here, where it says DM me organic. And so when you DM him organic, one of the setters, or, you know, whoever has access to his account, will basically show the free course here. This is actually the free course, and you know, you'll go ahead and get signed up with that. Or what happens is you follow that YouTube link, and it basically either takes you to the freebie or it takes you straight to the inner circle or the mentorship. And that's going to be more towards the conversion side of things. So we'll just hold off on that for now for the actual mentorship. But this is basically the free course that he put out. And so once you click on the link for the free course is actually just a 28-minute mini course on organic dropshipping. And this is just kind of like the landing page. And the way it works is that if you want to go ahead and watch the video, you need to go ahead and give your information. And this is just going to add you onto an email list so that you will be further nurtured later on into buying that mentorship with him. And so this is how the little form looks like. Fill out your contact info so I know where to send the course. So basically clicking on this link here, it's going to open up this, just basically asks for your full name, your email, and your phone, and then you can click send me the course here. And then once you do get in, you will have access to go ahead and play the video here. But also there are multiple parts to it. So there's the video, but then there's also the testimonial video section. And there's also like the community wins with numbers shown, you know, like 40K right here, 60K right here. And it shows things such as like some of the students' cars that they have bought. Looks like this guy here, he bought a Beamer or whatever. And the thing that I find that is really smart of him that he does is there's a button to apply at every section. And it really just keeps the option open in case they really want to jump on the mentorship once they see all this proof. Basically, you know, if they watch the whole video and they really like it, boom, the apply for one-on-one coaching is right here. Or if they watch one of the videos here with the testimonials, boom, apply for one-on-one coaching is already there. even at the end of this little wins section, or the students wins, there's going to be an apply for one-on-one coaching right here. And so once they click on that, it basically takes them to the actual mentorship here, the same link that is right here, and it's the same link that is in the TikTok, and I believe the same link as YouTube right here. So all of this traffic is really funneling into one place, which is the conversion part of things, and that's just the paid mentorship. So basically, once you get to this page here, he just mentions that, this is how he went from flipping burgers at his dead end 9 to 5 to making 6 figures online with organic dropshipping. And he also mentions that you can do this too, even though you are a complete beginner. And I think that's a super smart thing to put into this, or, as far as this coaching offer, because it does broaden the spectrum. It's not like you have to be, super versed into this space, or like at an intermediate level. Even a beginner can do this. And it just really broadens the audience of who this mentorship can go to. And this here basically is a 10-minute VSL, just kind of explaining the mentorship, what you're going to learn, what you're going to get from there, the types of things you can expect from it. And it's basically just showing you all the reasons why, you need a mentorship or a community like his. And then it'll say, limited spots available, just to kind of build that scarcity. And then you can go ahead and apply for the one-on-one coaching. And once you click on that one-on-one coaching, it basically takes you to this type form. And the type form is really there just to bring qualified leads, just because he does not want people who is basically going to, get up to this point of maybe getting the mentorship and not being able to pay for the mentorship, or maybe they just aren't dedicated to be in this mentorship, and that's not what he wants. And he makes it super clear that this application is for dropshippers who have the funds to invest in coaching. And so one thing that I want to mention, once you look at the title, or you notice the title, Fredo includes the word invest. And this is because it's seen as an opportunity or as a moment to grow. And I think that's super smart here, because when people generally think about like having a mentor or a coach, they're kind of put off by it, just because there's a lot of bad rep from those coaches who aren't able to fulfill once a student, comes on to their mentorship. But in this case, it shows that this is just a further step into like your development, and not really just, you're there to just give your money away and to get like messed over or whatever. It's really a opportunity to go ahead and invest into this new chapter of your life. And so once you go ahead and click start, there's just going to be a bunch of questions here. How long have you been dropshipping for? What are your lifetime organic views? What's your biggest struggle with dropshipping so far? And then basically just filling out your information here so that they can go ahead and contact you. So this is just like first name here, phone number, email. And so once you fill out this information here, basically you're just going to be added onto the same email list as this freebie course here, just the same email list to try to nurture you into buying the mentorship. But since this one is already you trying to apply for the mentorship, basically what's going to happen here is someone from BSM Fredo's team is going to reach out, basically just mention that, they saw you apply. Is that correct? And this is where they're going to build the relationship with you to, nurture you a little bit more, and basically just showing all the positives to joining this group. And it looks like it came from one of their reps here. It looks like his name is Benny. And once you go ahead and click OK here, it's going to go ahead and send you this application, just like I showed you, but it's also going to give a important like message here. So basically it's going to thank you. Hey, thanks for submitting the application and things like that. And basically this is just a message to explain the process, and the team will reach out to SMS. And basically it just looks like it's assuring you that, you're making the right decision by picking this mentorship. This gets real. And he basically wants you to go ahead and check out the extended channel. So the BSM extended channel right here. He puts the link right here. And basically once you go ahead and, view some of the videos, this is really just extra nurturing from the live calls and testimonials. And by the time the potential buyer hops on the call, it'll be an easy close for Fredo to sell his mentorship. But just looking at some of the videos, they are super long videos here. You could see that he does do like some of the group calls here. another group call, and this is all with a bunch of guest speakers. And I think it's super important that he mentions that during that call he has a guest speaker, because it shows that you're not just learning from him, but you're also learning from a bunch of people who are successful in the space as well. So as you can see in this one, they talked to like Samuel. This one is with a BSM member. This one is with Ryan. I don't know. This one is with Ryan Mickles. I'm not too familiar with him, but I'm guessing he's doing pretty well for himself. He's a 7-figure dropshipper here. But yeah, it's just a whole bunch of case studies, learning from different people in the space. So it gives a lot of value. So now just following along the process here of the team reaching out through SMS. So basically they're gonna go ahead and reach out, and then they're gonna follow up with you with a link to a calendar just to set a time for the call. And there's gonna be a bunch of texts to really nurture the prospect before the call. There's also going to be reminder texts, whether it be a day beforehand, a few hours beforehand, 5 minutes beforehand, whatever. And basically what they're going to do is hop on the call to basically close you onto the mentorship. And if you do end up, deciding to go with the mentorship, they're going to go ahead and close on the call, and that's where they're going to be able to collect the money. And then also, if it is a no close, then there's going to be a few follow-ups for emails. And if you are nurtured by that down the line, again, you're basically going to go through this whole process and then potentially close on the second time or whatever. And the thing that is actually genius about how this whole thing is set up is, even if it's a funnel, it works more like an ecosystem. And the reason why I say that is because even if you don't get closed on the call the first time, into buying the mentorship, there's going to be so many reminders from all the social media that he has. And so the bigger picture is that everything that BSM Fredo basically does is going to nurture you back into, joining the mentorship. And I actually made a model here, and I basically call this the mentee retention ecosystem. And basically these are like the 4 pillars of his ecosystem or his funnel. You have TikTok here, you have Instagram, you have YouTube, and you also have the email nurturing. And so each thing feeds into each other. So you're basically just always going to see, different student wins, different video clips, lifestyle clips, motivational talks, and that basically is always going to be bringing you in to wanting to join the mentorship again and again and again. And so with TikTok here, there's video clips, motivational talks, the flashy lifestyle. With YouTube, there's going to be how-tos, basically teaching you constantly. There's going to be lifestyle and POV, and there's going to be testimonials as well, which I think is super important, because there's no better example of someone winning than someone who was in your position and went through the program and really saw the changes happen in their life from that program. And with the emails as well, there's going to be free tips on how you can implement dropshipping like tactics into your own work. And there's also going to be email nurturing. And with Instagram as well, you'll also have the contact of the CTA convo. So that little DM where you were like organic or whatever, that conversation's still going to be there, and it's still going to be nurturing you every now and then, just checking up on you and things like that. But there's also going to be, the wins from the stories and whatever, the reels that are going to be posted, and also the story sequences showing, hey, this student is winning, this is my lifestyle. And it's going to have those links to go ahead and, hop on another call later on. And so all of this really feeds into each other, keeping you in the loop of everything. And that's what I think is super genius about this. And that's why I had to kind of map it out to show you that, everything is flowing into each other. And honestly, the only way you're going to be getting rid of him is like if you unfollow him on everything or block him on everything. But if you take it into the view of somebody who is probably in the space, why would they want to go ahead and unfollow someone who's super popular, within the niche that they're going for, the business model that they're going for? Or why would they unfollow someone who's one of the biggest dudes within that business model space? And so they're always going to be consistently nurtured by everything that they see, and each time it's just going to be a warmer and warmer lead, leading up to another conversion process. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Just went over the traffic, warm leads, and conversion for how BSM Fredo is able to make 100K a month. And like I mentioned, he's doing this with a super small following. As you can see, Instagram, 17K followers. TikTok, he has almost 50K. his YouTube here, he has about 30K, and he's able to crank out those high numbers of 100K. And this is all because he has a really good system in place with the right strategies to target the right people. And if you guys are really looking to build a system like this for yourself, feel free to DM me the word systems, and I would love to go ahead and explain the best combination of strategies for you guys to implement into your own business. And it's totally free. I do free audits. If you guys want as well, I do have a free resource down below to kind of explain the different strategies that you can implement. And there are a bunch of strategies that are not mentioned in this video, so I would go ahead and take a look if I was you guys there. I'm looking forward to pumping out some more videos for you guys about funnels, and also in this case, a little ecosystem here, but things along those lines. Basically just showing how creators and coaches can go ahead and be profitable even without a big following. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys subscribe. It really helps out with the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.